Welcome, everyone, to our first rendition of Bros and Beers Fantasy Sports Podcast. I'm your co-host, Nick Keeland.
I'm your other co-host, Ron Smith.
This is where you'll tune in to get all of your fantasy football advice, such as who to start every week, who to sit, weekly waivers, and just recaps of the week. First off, I think we should introduce ourselves.
I agree.
So, my name's Nick Keeland.
My name's Ron Smith.
Again. We've been playing fantasy football for, I don't know, 20 years maybe?
20 years, 40 years between us.
Yeah.
Long time.
Long time.
We love it.
And I personally have been watching football for almost 30, which makes me feel a little old, but that's okay.
30 years, huh? You remember watching football when you were 3?
Dude, I've been watching football with my dad for a long
fair enough.
time. So, yeah.
I still remember when I got into football in 98 when the Vikings 15-1. Skull.
98?
You see it?
Randy Moss's rookie year.
We're both from Minnesota, born and raised.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately is correct.
We've had to deal with the Packers quarterbacks for a lifetime now.
Well, at least this season, not for 3 to 6 weeks.
That's true. Thank God.
So,
yes, we've played fantasy football for a long time. I think we've both had a lot of success.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a couple championships in the last couple of years.
Yep.
It's been a while since I won one, but
2 last year for me, 1 the year before.
Yep.
I've had a good run recently, so.
And I like making it to the championship and not winning it all.
Choking.
Or getting top 3. Which,
typical.
Hey, you know what?
Typical Minnesota guy making the championship and
then losing.
Can't finish.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll get there.
I'd rather win it all.
We got a lot of fantasy football years to go, so.
Exactly.
It's all good.
Like we said, we're both Vikings fans.
Even though he's got a Colts jersey.
Yeah. I personally would say I'm not a huge Vikings. I'm a Vikings fan if I had a team, but I just like football. So
football's awesome.
That way Monday mornings I don't cry
fantasy football makes it more awesome. And
yes,
that's why we're here to spread our love and our knowledge, and hopefully we can help some of you guys out.
Exactly. So yeah, join our channel and we'll be talking about football.
We're called Bros and Beers because we are bros.
Yes.
And we are going to be drinking beer for this podcast.
Yes. Talking about beer.
Cheers to that.
Hopefully giving you guys recommendations.
Yeah.
Typically, I like to watch football and drink beer.
Who doesn't?
Exactly. So
they go hand in hand.
They do.
They do.
It's like beer and pizza.
It really is.
Beer and football. So we're going to give you guys recommendations on beer to drink while you watch football.
Yeah.
And our first one of the week, Ron, you actually showed me this one, so you can.
I brought this one. This one is from Indeed Brewing Company, which is located here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's called Flavor Wave.
Yep.
Good stuff. It's IPA. We both like our IPAs, so this is the first one we've cracked open tonight.
6.2% alcohol.
Oh, we love it. We love the high content.
We only have a couple.
Like that.
Definitely don't drink and drive.
That light stuff is what I call my softball beer.
Coors Light.
Yep, Coors Light.
Busch Light.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Anything that doesn't have any flavor in it.
Correct. But for football, we like the better tasting stuff.
Yeah, we're real men.
Which they don't help our guts.
No.
And that's all right.
Nope, that's okay.
So yeah, every Saturday night we'll be doing some sort of beer.
We're gonna try to switch it up every Saturday. See if we can get a different one we haven't tried before. Maybe give you guys a little bit of a review of what we think.
Correct.
I obviously brought this one because I like it. So
yeah, it's a good start.
It's a good start.
Good first video. So after that, most Saturdays we're gonna talk about previews of Thursday night. We got lucky this week though. We had 2 football games.
Yeah.
So
Friday. When do we get a Friday night football game?
Probably not till Black Friday.
Almost never. Oh,
Black Friday is probably the first one. Maybe Christmas after that.
Right.
Depending on what day of the week it is. So you want to start us off with a Thursday update, Ron?
Yeah, Thursday update. Man, that was a good game. 27-20, Chiefs beat Ravens. Barely made the over by a point.
Yeah, so if you're a betting man, betting the over, you would have won your money.
Yep. We'll give you some over-unders and stuff like that, who's favored and whatnot. Crazy play to end the game with that likely catch. Watching it live, I kind of was freaking out a little bit. I was hoping we'd maybe get into overtime, even though it looked like it was Ravens were going to line up for 2. But, man, quarter of an inch with that toe.
Did you see how Mahomes, I think he tweeted, or maybe it was an interview, he said if you would have wore white cleats, or recommending him to wear white cleats, he would have been good.
Yeah, probably.
So we'll see. Maybe likely wears them next week.
The contrast on those makes it a little bit easier to tell. They got some crazy camera angles now that you can actually
I know. Maybe we should
see
implement
everything.
that into our stream, and all of a sudden you got a camera from back there.
Yeah, right.
Just the back of our heads, or I'll be catching a ball or something like that.
I don't know if anybody wants to look at the back of our heads though.
No,
but
nobody wants to see that.
But yeah, Chiefs prevail, Super Bowl champions, back-to-back champs, looking to three-peat this year. They start off good by beating a good Ravens team.
Who looked kind of weak.
They did, they kind of looked like they... Flat, yeah. It kind of looked like they didn't really know what they were doing. They have a new offensive coordinator. No, that's not true.
No,
they
same
have
one.
the same one as last year. Last year they had a new offensive coordinator. So
I think they have a new defensive coordinator, actually.
But yeah,
let's double check that.
Beside the point.
Yes.
But yeah. So let's get into our standout players from that game. I think the first one that's worth talking about is Xavier Worthy. Touched the ball 3 times and scored 2 touchdowns.
It's a great percentage.
Pretty electric player. I know he was kind of a I got him on a team. He was kind of a late round pick, kind of like a high risk, high reward, and I think he definitely rewarded people who put him in their lineups this week.
Week 1, he did. And he could be like that all year.
Right.
Unfortunately, he's probably just like this past game. He's not going to touch the ball a lot.
Yeah.
He might only get 5 touches, kind of like Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah,
Different
Jahmyr
position,
Gibbs,
but...
Tyreek Hill. He could get used like a Tyreek did when he was with Andy Reid, and drawing up plays for him to have high potential to score the ball whenever he touches it.
And if he doesn't, he could be a decoy.
It's very true.
Which sets up Rice, sets up Kelsey, maybe sets up the run game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
It was good to see he did play 63% of the snaps. I think that was second for wide receivers behind Rice.
Of course, yep.
But yeah, going into Rice, he looked solid. Kind of a big,
wide receiver 1.
Wide receiver 1.
Yup.
Big question mark coming into the season, not knowing what was going to happen with the legal stuff. Sounds like all that could get pushed back to next year.
Is it March?
Yeah, I mean...
I think it's either March or
June. Typically the NFL doesn't lay down any kind of law until the actual legal proceedings have finished.
Correct.
And if that stuff doesn't happen until the end of this year, he might not get suspended. But 7 catches on 9 targets and 103 yards. That's a solid start.
Yeah.
And looking like a true wide receiver 1. And if they got Rice and Worthy...
And Brown comes back, and then Kelsey,
yep.
16-0. No, 17-0. Could we see it?
They lost last year's season opener to the Lions.
That's true, they
definitely
did.
And they ended up winning the Super Bowl. The Chiefs looked flat last year for like the first half of the season and turned it on, and this did not look like that same team that started out flat last year.
Correct.
So we'll see what happens.
Wow, we actually got some people in the chat.
Really?
That's pretty cool.
Wow. That's
Swanky
awesome.
Shoe and Juki Holic.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Appreciate it.
This video will actually be on YouTube. So.
Yep, YouTube, all our socials will be on at the end of the stream as well. So make sure you guys go like and subscribe that. We'll probably say that more than once tonight, but
yes,
we're looking forward to that.
So I would say that was kind of the Chiefs standouts. They had some players that did some things. Not really, but Lamar Jackson, not a great... I'm going to be honest. He's not a great NFL quarterback. Like, he's fine.
Yeah.
But fantasy, the dude is a stud. 26 of 41, 273 yards with 1 passing touchdown, but 16 rushes for 122 yards. I mean...
They talked a lot about how he got skinnier in the offseason. He did look fast. I mean, dude's always been fast. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Remember the infamous highlight of him in high school where all of a sudden he stops and the dude runs past him?
Walks into the end zone.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, fantasy purposes, if dude's carrying the ball 15-plus times a game, if he could easily finish as QB1 if he's running that many times a game and that effectively.
Correct.
So we'll see. Who knows?
Isaiah Likely. Want to talk about him?
Big surprise.
Yes.
9 catches on 12 targets, which was 10 more than Mark Andrews. But we'll talk about that in a second here. But Likely looked good, man. Catching the ball after the catch. I mean, can you? What would his stat line look like if that last one counted, or if he had actually kept his
30-yard touchdown? Maybe.
No, I think it was inside the 10.
Okay.
But I mean, that's still PPR purposes. That's a catch and 5 yards and a touchdown. That's
Well, he had
27.1.
So, 34.
I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. He did play less snaps than Andrews, but that's definitely somebody that they could end up using like the Patriots use Gronk.
Yeah,
lining them up all over the field, out wide in the slot, lining up on the line.
Well, I hate to say the name, but it could be an Aaron Hernandez and Gronk. As far as football.
As far as football,
don't agree with
I
anything
agree.
else.
I agree.
But using 2 tight ends, 12 formation, looking forward to it.
Right.
Real quick, we had somebody in the chat actually ask us a question.
Sure.
Kansas City versus Cincinnati next week. I think
AFC Championship game?
I don't agree. I mean, Burrow is already saying his wrist is hurt. They just came out, I think it was today, that he's going to be struggling with that wrist. Higgins, we'll see.
Higgins is doubtful to play. And some people's hammies, man, those can be tough.
Yes.
And then you got Chase,
that's gonna linger.
Which we've talked about. I've just said they should have paid him because next year when they probably have to pay him, it's probably going to be more expensive.
Correct.
So but they're paying Burrow a lot of money, so
yep.
Who knows?
I got Kansas City though. To answer your question,
Kansas City, they look like, and their defense is just as good as it was last year. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Never know.
Back to our stars. Justice Hill.
Well, I did want to say for Likely too.
Yes.
Obviously, that was kind of a surprise performance. I don't think a lot of people were expecting that. We use Sleeper. That's our favorite app that we like to use. And on Sleeper, he's only rostered in 30% of leagues.
Correct.
Probably going to be one of the top waiver wire pickups this week, easily. Especially,
he will be the top one. Well,
absolutely.
We'll see what happens.
We still have all Sunday and Monday. Correct. I think right now, it's such a thin position.
Yeah.
You never know. But yeah, Likely. So you were saying Justice Hill.
Well, so he's not a huge fantasy person. There were some reports coming out later in the week that Harbaugh said that they wanted to use Justice Hill a lot this year. Mm-hmm. They wanted to spell him with Henry. He's not going to run the ball a lot. Henry's going to be their goal line guy. But Justice Hill, they were down a lot. Mm-hmm. On 8 targets, 6 receptions, 52 yards. He also played more snaps than Henry.
Yeah.
54% of the snaps to Justice Hill, 46% of the snaps to Henry.
And
something to monitor.
Especially when it was a pretty close game the whole time. They weren't down.
They were only down by 7.
I think 10 was the biggest deficit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So seeing that that could end up being, Henry's 30. That could end up being the story of the year with those two. Is that they pretty much do a 50-50 split.
Somewhat of a committee.
You never know.
Yeah. I mean, Henry's had some major injuries in his career. He's older. Mm-hmm. I thought he looked good, though. It's just the Chiefs.
He did look good.
Dude, their run defense is top 5 in the league.
Yeah.
And he was getting blown up at the line of scrimmage almost every play.
Ravens have offensive line, guys that haven't played together a lot. So that's another thing, that could affect blocking schemes and who's got this guy, who's got that guy. But Henry's the size of a defensive end, so you never know.
Yeah.
It's Derrick Henry. The dude's going to score touchdowns. I think the yards is going to be the question, especially with Hill taking receiving.
Sorry. We got another question in the chat. Tank Dell or Andre, I think it's Iosivas? Is that how you say his name?
Iosivas.
Tank Dell or Iosivas at flex with Chase and Higgins. Doubtful.
Is Chase actually officially doubtful?
I think he meant Higgins doubtful.
Okay. Dude, he's definitely gonna with Higgins doubtful.
I gotta go.
He's definitely gonna be.
If Chase is out,
the thing is with if Chase is out, 100%.
If Chase is in, I'm going Tank Dell.
Especially because Cincinnati's playing New England. New England's probably going to have bottom 3 offenses. Like
this could the name test Tank Dell. Sorry.
This could be I like he was talking about Hollywood, Justice Hill, all those guys had good names. Yeah, Tank Dell, man, he's in a crowded room. Nico Collins was a stud last year. You bring in Stephon Diggs, who's the proven dude's been one of the best route runners in the NFL
picked up Mixon
forever.
Too, so maybe they could run more.
Exactly. You never know what's going to happen. They still got Dalton Schultz. I think
an elite offense.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a great quarterback spreading the ball around. I think all 3 of those guys could easily end up with 100 or more targets.
90 plus for sure.
90 plus for sure. Yeah, 100. Well, 100 is being generous. What do you think? Stroud will
throw the ball 500 times? 450?
At least.
Okay, so that's 300 targets. Who else is he going to throw to? He's not going to throw to Schultz 150 times.
Nah.
So yeah, I could see 120, 110, and 95.
Yeah, I definitely think if Higgins and Chase are out, you got to go Iosivas. He's going to be wide receiver 1. He's going to get the targets. They don't have a tight end that they're going to go to. There's been a lot of reports that Burton is not ready to be a.
He's a diva already.
He's not ready to be a professional receiver, which kind of sucks because that's why they talked about why he slid in the draft.
Correct.
But yeah, I think definitely monitor. Higgins is doubtful. You don't know what's going to happen with Chase. I think if both of those guys aren't playing, you got to throw the guy that's going to be Burrow's wide receiver 1. Correct. Especially with Tank Dell possibly. I think with that team though, it's gonna kind of do this every week between all 3 of those guys.
Correct. Let's get to our duds though.
Yeah, let's move on.
So duds of the Thursday night game. Number 1, it's got to be Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
4 targets, 3 catches, 34 yards. And he still played 89% of snaps.
I definitely think Ravens game planned against him.
Oh, totally. They took him out.
And like we were talking about before, Ravens have probably one of the best linebacking cores and one of the best safeties. Do they still have Marcus Williams?
I don't know. But they got Kyle Hamilton and Roquan
Kyle
Smith.
Hamilton, obviously, he's one of the top safeties in the NFL. I'm looking up Marcus Williams. Let's see. Because that's something to know.
Is he on the Saints? He was on the Saints at one point.
He was on the Saints. He's the guy that whiffed on Stephon Diggs for the
IDP league.
He is still in Baltimore,
wow.
So definitely, that's 2 awesome safeties, a great linebacking core with Roquan Smith and Simpson. I think they definitely game planned to keep Kelce out of the game, and they did a good job of that.
Correct. But I think he'll be fine.
I think I agree.
He looked a little slow, but he's 36, 35, 36, somewhere in there.
Kelce is 35, I believe.
He'll be a red zone presence. He'll have games where he's big, but they got 2 young studs there. So
yeah.
Next stud though, we got a lot of content to cover through. So
Kelce's 34, but
34. Mark Andrews. 2 catches, 2 targets, 14 yards. I think me or you could have done better than that. Not actually, but
yeah.
He played 74% of the snaps. I'm not worried about him. He blocked a lot that game. And so, yeah, I'm not worried. We'll see.
I'm not either. We know he's good. Again, that it could be something where they used him to try to help, and they probably, the Chiefs probably underplayed Likely not being a factor, and they definitely exposed that. So it's week 1. Never know what's going to happen. People are going to have down weeks. It's
part of football.
That's part of football. It's part of fantasy. We play people we think are going to do good, and they don't.
We don't have a crystal ball. Oh, yeah. Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, you can't sit Josh Allen.
You can't sit Josh Allen.
Brock Purdy's good.
You'll play him every week of the year.
Yes.
Unless for some reason you have Mahomes, Hurts, Jackson, which if you have 2 of those, then you better be in a super flex league.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Don't sit Josh Allen. Next dud of the week, and it really wasn't a huge dud like fantasy. It's more of a real football dud. Isaiah Pacheco, 15 for 45 and a touchdown, 2 catches on 3 targets for 33 yards. Great for fantasy. It was, 15 points?
78 total yards and a touchdown you'll take every week for fantasy.
Yes, but his 3 yards per carry average, not great.
I think that's just a prop to the Ravens D. They got a good front seven.
Pacheco will be fine.
Absolutely.
And if this
I
is
love
his
Pacheco
floor,
this year.
His 15 points is his floor, you'll take that every week.
Also, he only ceded 4 touches. 2 to Steele and 2 to Pirine. And now, granted, Pirine's been on the team for like a week. So maybe he cuts into that a little bit more moving forward.
Correct.
But, dude, Pacheco's the man. He's going to be fine.
Yeah.
I love Pacheco this year. He's on a great team.
Yep.
I think they got so many weapons.
He's going to score a lot of touchdowns.
Well, absolutely. They got so many weapons to use in so many different ways that Chiefs are just going to be good. I think their offense is going to be much better than they were last year.
Yeah. Well, they shouldn't have as many drops as last year with Worthy, Rice. You want to hit the next dud?
Yeah, Derrick Henry. 16 for 46 and a touchdown. Obviously, we like touchdowns. I mean, I think he's going to
saved his day.
I think he's going to put up double-digit touchdowns easy. He's the best goal line back in football. It helps when you're the size of a defensive lineman, but the big question mark, 46% of the snaps, he got outsnapped by Hill.
Yeah.
2 targets, no catches. Like, is that going to be a concern moving forward? Or that he's going to lose that much receiving.
Who do they play next week? Oh, no, they play
Las Vegas. So
which
that
they
could
should be up, and he should be in the game.
I think
more.
that's a game where he breaks out for his new team.
Correct.
But you never know. Las Vegas has got their new coach. He's a defensive-minded coach.
Yeah. I'm not worried about him, though.
No, I don't.
I have him in one league. I drafted him in a keeper league, 11th overall. And this keeper has 36 keepers taken out. So it probably would have been like the end of second, early third of a normal league.
Mm-hmm. He's
on RB1. Wasn't hyped about it going into the year, but he'll be fine.
I think he'll be fine.
Don't worry about it.
It's Derrick Henry.
Zay Flowers, our next one, he got a lot of targets, 10 targets, but only 6 receptions for 37 yards.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't do anything past what? It felt like every pass to him was 6 yards.
Very short and very short intermediate stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for the duds. And then obviously, got to mention Mahomes, 20 of 28, 291, touchdown, a pick, 2 carries for 3 yards. Obviously, he's not going to run the ball very much unless he really has to. He's always looking downfield. So there's a reason he's the best quarterback in football.
Correct.
He might not be the best fantasy quarterback in football, but in real life,
I mean, he was efficient. 20 of 28.
Yeah, that's great. But
so
most people aren't drafting him as a third, fourth, fifth quarterback taken off the board for him to put up a game like that. But you never know what's going to happen.
As far as injuries, no major injuries Thursday night.
Mm-hmm. We like seeing that.
Correct. Look ahead for next week, though. So we got Baltimore's playing at home against the Raiders on Sunday, and then Kansas City's playing at home against the Bengals.
Mm-hmm. Which hopefully will be a good game. Hopefully Cincinnati. T. Higgins said he wanted to play this week, but hopefully Cincinnati can be at 100%, and that can be a good game because typically Burrow versus Mahomes has been good matchups.
Yeah, though between Mahomes, Burrow, and Allen, it's always a good game.
Absolutely.
Which sucks because they're in the AFC.
Right.
I got Baltimore and Kansas City winning both those games. Who you got, Ron?
I agree. Both at home. These are two of the top teams in the AFC. I think Baltimore blows out Las Vegas, but I think the line on that was Baltimore -8, and I bet they cover.
I wouldn't be surprised. The Raiders have a good defense, not fantasy,
like we said,
but they got a good offense. Actual defense.
They have a good defensive-minded coach. Chiefs at Bengals. Yeah, I definitely think Chiefs take it again. They looked so good.
Yep.
And Bengals look to be banged up early with some of the things that are going on with that. That they got Kansas City 3.5. I'd take that all day.
Correct. Next Thursday night's game, we got Buffalo at Miami.
Divisional matchup.
Yep.
That'll be a good game.
Yep. I got Buffalo.
The Got Buffalo on the road, huh?
Oh, yeah, dude. I just don't trust Tua.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
We'll see.
See what Buffalo does this week with Josh Allen's new weapons.
That's true. That'll be not knowing how that's all going to play out just because we haven't seen Buffalo yet. I think I'm taking Miami at home on that one. But
what's the spread?
The spread's 1.5 on Miami.
Oh.
They're 1.5. So that's a tough one.
Could be a close game.
Yeah,
should be.
I think it'll be a good game. I think Miami being at home, having the edge there,
could be the difference.
Especially with Josh Allen, he's got such a new core of receivers. Who knows?
Yeah, who's going to be their
Who
one?
knows? It's going to
honestly,
how it's going to
Kincaid
adjust.
could be their one.
He's a great player. Curtis Samuel could end up being good. Shakir, and you never know what Coleman's going to do. I mean, he's a rookie. Yep. He could end up being an absolute stud.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Let's talk about last night's game. Our first Friday night game of Week 1, I think, ever.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Black Friday. We've had that recently. I think last year was the first year.
Mm-hmm.
We had Packers at Eagles. It was in Philly, right?
It was in Brazil.
Oh,
but
that's right.
It counted as a home game for the Eagles. So technically, it was Packers at Eagles.
Yes. Eagles won 34-29, and it was a good game.
Yeah,
I think so. I mean, both quarterbacks
It was a great game. For how bad they were talking about how the field was, it ended up being a pretty good terrible offensive game. But
people were slipping left and right.
Yeah. You're talking about the quarterbacks. I think it was pretty subpar for both quarterbacks, but there were some other players that definitely stood out.
Yes. Want to start us off?
Yeah, obviously I think the story of the game was Saquon coming onto a new team, going for 132 total yards and 3 touchdowns, 2 catches and 2 targets.
He's going to win people's matchups this week.
Yeah, tell me about it. Great game by him. Man, he looked good. I think he's motivated. He's on a new team. He knows he's on a team that's going to make a run for a Super Bowl. I think he's motivated and he's ready to show the world we already know what he can do. What am I talking about?
He was on the Giants. And
he stays healthy all year. He could. I was hoping to get him this year. I thought with that offensive line that Philly has, and I think he's going to have a great year.
Their new center though was struggling.
Yeah,
Kenny Clark was just eating him up all game.
He's got big shoes to fill though.
Well, yeah, you got a Hall of Famer.
I think people
most likely
ought to
Hall
give
of
him
Famer.
a break, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so Barkley was definitely the player of the game.
Absolutely.
Honestly, though, a guy who I
know this
very
guy,
underrated player.
You loved coming into this year.
He was like my must-have this year was Jaden Reed,
mm-hmm.
and now it's not looking like that. But on 6 targets, 4 catches for 138 yards and a touchdown, and then 1 rush for 33 yards and a touchdown. I don't think we can just talk about it. Jordan Love's injury.
Luckily, it's not as bad as we might have thought it could have been.
Correct. If it was season ending, I don't think I'd want any Packers players.
Malik Willis, we never really seen a whole lot of what he can do. He's played here and there, and he played in Tennessee. They
didn't have anything there.
They have Derrick Henry. That doesn't help him out at all.
No.
And we know he can be a good runner, too, which we know.
He could be good for fantasy, maybe.
Running quarterbacks in fantasy.
Correct.
Are good. So
yes, and I trust the Packers head coach to maybe use him to his strengths.
Right.
We'll see. Put him
Matt
on
LaFleur is a
put
good
him on
coach.
The runs, maybe some play action.
Matt LaFleur is a good coach. He could figure out how to use him effectively.
Yes.
Definitely, especially if you're in a super flex league with Jordan Love, when you have Jordan Love on your team, Malik Willis is probably worth a flyer for you.
Correct.
He could end up showing out. Obviously, he's not going to continue playing once Love comes back because you don't pay a guy $55 million a year
to sit on the bench.
Because your backup started playing pretty well. You play the guy you're paying that money to.
Unfortunately,
but yeah,
in one of my leagues, I'm going to have to pick him up.
Yeah,
Because I have Jordan Love, and it's a super flex, and I have another quarterback.
But still, Reed is the type of guy where you can get him the ball quick at the line of scrimmage and watch him run. That's why he took a carry for 33 yards and a touchdown. He's an electric player. He's good with the ball in his hands. So he might be the one guy, the one receiver that this injury doesn't affect a whole lot because they're still going to try to get the ball in his hands.
Yes.
For sure.
What's funny, because they have both him and Watson, who can both run the ball. Watson can't stay healthy, but
Watson is more of a straight line speed kind of guy.
he is.
Reed is quick and yeah.
And he's good in the red zone, I feel like.
Yeah.
Next player, though, A.J. Brown. Not very efficient. 10 targets, 5 receptions, 119 yards, and a touchdown. That's
good stat line.
That's great.
67-yard touchdown catch. I mean, if you take that away, it's not. You take that away, we might be talking about him as one of our duds of the week.
Correct.
But that's the great thing about A.J. Brown is that, again, such an
play,
electric player. He could break a tackle on a slant and he's gone.
Correct.
That's why you draft him as one of the top 5-6 receivers in fantasy is because he's that good. Mm-hmm. So, regardless of the fact that he had that one catch that he took for a touchdown, it happened. But yeah, inefficient. I think 5 of 10.
And that might have been because of Hurts.
It might have been
bad game.
But
bad. I just say bad football game. Fantasy. Hurts will always be fine.
Yeah, he needs to do better rushing, but he'll get there.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
More efficient on the same side of the ball, Devontae Smith.
Mm-hmm.
7 catches, 8 targets, 84 yards. That's good for 15.4 in PPR. That's solid line.
Yeah, I'll take that all day.
Great route runner, great hands. That's probably a line from him you can expect
almost every week.
On any given week.
Yes.
Not going to get you a lot of touchdowns, but he's going to get you catches. He's going to get you chunk gains.
Yes. I feel like, this is a hot take.
Oh, here we go. First one of the year.
A.J. Brown is talented, but I got them both as 1A, 1B.
Like, I mean, they're definitely one of the best receiving duos.
That might not be a hot take, but dude, Devontae Smith he's just so good. I can't say anything else.
He won the Heisman for a reason.
Yes, he's good. As a wide receiver.
Right. He's good.
Let's get on to the duds. This one hurts me a little bit because I did draft Musgrave as one of my tight ends, one of the leagues. I had Love. Was going for the stack. Mm-hmm. Might cry later tonight. 2 targets, 0 catches, 0 yards. And he only played 25% of the snaps. So looks like Tucker Kraft, their rookie last year, could be the new tight end.
They were both rookies last year.
True. Yes.
But Musgrave was the higher draft pick.
And he played more last year.
Right.
Tucker Kraft, though, 94% of the snaps. Musgrave only played 25%. We'll see. Maybe there's an injury out there that we don't know about. Doubtful. Yeah. He didn't look hurt.
He didn't.
But, yeah, looks like Tucker Kraft is the new tight end to own.
Yeah, on Green Bay, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But not if Malik Willis is the quarterback. I would stay away from both of those guys.
Yeah, that's a tough offense now.
Yeah.
Another dud, though. Jordan Love. Hopefully he recovers fast and he's okay. But, man, he did not play great.
Right.
16 of 33, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Less than 50% completion percentage. And he just wasn't throwing the ball great.
Yeah.
He missed a lot of open throws. He was late on throws. I mean, the Eagles have a good defense. They have a really good front seven.
Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis up the middle. That's going to be scary.
And Josh Sweat.
Quarterbacks playing. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. Bond.
Brandon Graham, who's like 53, but he's still playing well.
Hopefully he doesn't see this video.
That's all right.
But, dude, Bond. I don't even know who that... I've never heard of him before.
Never heard of him before. They were talking about him last night that he used to be a running back in, high school. Owned some kind of record. I kind of was vaguely listening, but apparently he's an athlete. And
seems like it.
He definitely proved it. So
outside linebacker / rusher?
If you're in an IDP league...
Pick him up.
Pick up Bond.
Yeah.
Bond, B-A-U-N, I believe it was.
What's his...
But yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's Zach Bond.
Yep, that sounds right.
I'll double check that.
While you're looking that up, I'll talk about the next guy.
Yep, you got it.
Christian Watson.
Zach Bond, yep.
Z-A-C-H or K?
Z-A-C-K-B-A-U-N. 15 total tackles, 2 sacks, tackle for loss. That's a studly defensive line.
In our IDP league, it was 35 points. So,
Insane.
He was... That's the number one player this week so far.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Because Barkley's the number one offensive guy, and he's got, I think it was 33.1.
Yeah. So a defensive player outscored. Why are we friends?
we did mention we did mention we're Vikings fans, but he got a Jonathan Taylor jersey that he likes to wear.
Yeah, this is Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor helped me do really well one year, and my wife surprised me with the jersey.
You're a Badger fan. You like Wisconsin for some reason. University of Wisconsin. Taylor's a
Monty
Wisconsin
Ball
alumni.
will always have my heart. So
we're definitely not friends.
We played
because
sports together. That's how we know each other.
Yeah, we're not friends because of the teams we like, even though our favorite one is the same. But
correct. We're both Minnesota guys. Next stud though, Christian Watson. He stayed healthy. I mean, hey, that's something. Stayed healthy. 5 targets, 3 catches, 13 yards. Luckily, a touchdown saved his day. Otherwise, that was ugly.
Yeah, I think besides that touchdown, that's not a good line for. I mean, I don't think he was drafted high this year because of his injury history. I think something like that scares a lot of people away.
9th round, maybe, give or take.
Give or take, yeah.
Reed was always drafted first.
I mean, he's got the potential, big and fast, but the dude can't stay on the field, and he stayed on the field yesterday, and it didn't really pay off. But
yeah, let's get through the other players quick because we have a lot.
Yep.
Josh Jacobs, not stud, not dud, fine game. 16 for 84 rushing, 2 catches on 3 targets. 20 yards. 104
total yards. That's solid. From any starting running back, that's what you want to see. A touchdown would have been nice, but it looked pretty bleak for him at halftime. I think he had like 15 total yards.
Yeah, second half he came alive.
Right. Jalen Hurts, 20 of 34, 278, 2 tutties, 2 picks. The rushing line is what is kind of the disappointment. 13 for 33. It did look like they had.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it did look like they had a few designed run plays for him, which we didn't really see a lot at the end of last year because of that knee injury he had.
Correct.
So it was nice to see that he was getting some designed runs.
Correct.
Hopefully that'll continue for them. But, I mean, dude, if Barkley keeps running the ball the way he did last night.
They're going to give it to him on the goal line a lot.
Yeah.
Not only that, but on the, what are they calling the tuck? What's the...
Tush push.
Tush push. There you go. He got stuffed.
Yeah.
A lot.
I mean...
Jason Kelce
could
be the reason why they were successful.
I think it's reasonable to say that Hurts's rushing touchdowns are going to I mean, him and Allen set a record for 15 last year. I think with Barkley and losing Kelce, that you expect a huge regression.
And that's just because
broken
plays. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean,
7 is probably more realistic.
I don't think he gets close to 15. But we'll see.
Oh, no. That's what I was saying. 7's realistic. 10 would be lucky.
I think 5 to 7 range, especially with what Barkley did last night, 5 to 7 is probably what you should expect.
Yeah. Next 2 guys. So we got Dallas Goedert. He's like a tight end, 13, 14 probably.
Yeah.
4 for 31 on 5 targets. He's not that great anymore, to be honest. He's fine.
They got too many weapons to use in Philly now. He's gonna be fourth fiddle all year.
Yes. Yeah.
I wouldn't expect him to do much. But then the last one, Tucker Kraft, and we're only bringing him up because of what we brought up earlier with Musgrave playing 25% of the snaps. Tucker Kraft was 2 receptions, 3 targets, 37 yards on a 94% snap count. If he's playing that many snaps, expect that receiving line to be a little bit better throughout the year, but we'll see. We'll see if Willis is the quarterback.
The main part of this game, besides Barkley going off, is Jordan Love expected to be out 3 to 6 weeks with a sprained MCL. Hopefully it's 3 weeks. I have him in 3 leagues, so That's rough. I have some backup plans, thankfully.
You loved him this year.
Oh, dude, he was my guy that was going to go off. I mean, he second in passing touchdowns last year. If you have him and you are in a super flex, you might have to pick up Malik Willis. Otherwise, I mean, you're looking at Bo Nix. I really like Bo Nix this year.
I like Bo Nix
Bryce
as well.
Young, maybe. I like Bryce Young.
We've definitely both talked about how we both love Bo Nix.
Yes.
Dude, he's a great college player. Going
to a great scheme.
He's about as close as you can get to a perfect fit for a Sean Payton offense.
Well, he's very similar to Drew Brees.
Right.
Gets the ball out fast, accurate.
And he's mobile.
He is.
He could give you some rushing upside there as well. So
Look for Bo Nix. We'll see. It depends on, I mean, God, if you're in a one quarterback league, and it depends on the league you're in, I don't know, I would hope Baker Mayfield's not available, but somebody in that range. I mean, yeah, we'll see. Not great for Jordan.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Or the Packers in general.
It is what it is. That's football, man. Injuries happen. You gotta roll with what you got. Roll with what happens.
Go ahead.
Next week for both teams, Philly versus Atlanta on Monday night. Man, hard to not take Philly. They look great. They're -4 on the spread. I'm taking that all day. I think
it's interesting to see what Kirk Cousins will do, especially as former Viking. It's gonna be hard to root for him.
Coming back from an Achilles, we'll see how much that affects him. I mean, he's not a running quarterback anyways, but after watching him for the last 6 years, I hope Atlanta's line can protect him because he ain't mobile. He's got great weapons, so we'll see what happens. Philly's at home. I got Philly in that game. I think
me too.
Atlanta didn't do much to help their defense wasn't bad. They're not bad, but it's not great. I think
I got Philly by 7. It'll be close enough, but
I think Atlanta's offense is going to keep them floating all year.
Correct.
We'll see.
And then next Sunday, Green Bay is at home against the Colts. And it's hard to root for the Packers. 1, because we're Vikings fans. 2, with the Jordan Love injury. We have no idea what Malik Willis is capable of.
Right. Very true.
And Indianapolis isn't great. They're a sleeper this year, but Green Bay, they could lose by 20, to be honest.
Right. Jonathan Taylor healthy, Anthony Richardson, he can stay healthy, Pittman, Mitchell.
Yep.
Indianapolis still has a pretty good offensive line. Their defense has kind of always been middle of the road, which if you have a good offense with a middle of the road defense, you never know what you can get. But
exactly.
I think with the loss of Jordan Love, I got to go Indy in that one, but
correct.
We'll see what happens.
Our next topic of the night. So now we're going to move on from our previous games to looking ahead to the weekend. So on Sunday, we're going to talk about, we're going to do this every weekend, our starts of the week. Ron, you're going to start this off. Who's your... So I guess an explanation of this. We're always going to pick a quarterback, a wide receiver, a running back, a tight end, and a defense. And we're not going to pick top 12 because I'm never going to tell you... If I tell you to start Josh Allen, it'll be of course.
Obvious.
If I tell you to start McCaffrey... obvious. We're going to try to pick mid-tier players or sleepers, but I mean you'll see as we get through them, but they're not obvious. They should be players that you could have 2 players in this range and you have to decide between the 2 of them.
Right.
So who's your quarterback start of the week, Ron?
My start of the week for quarterback is Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield.
I like it.
Had a comeback year last year. Pretty sure he finished as a top 10 quarterback. Let me double check that because now I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Just kidding.
He was 6th overall.
That's what I thought. I was going to say I'm pretty sure he was
overall.
6th.
But this year in the rankings, most people have him at like 15.
Yeah, he was low. He was low in the rankings, which I don't really know
Juki
why.
Hollick.
No,
I see. I like it.
He was...
So in general, these picks, whatever.
He was the 10th quarterback
10th
overall.
Okay.
Which I don't think anybody expected.
Oh, he's a Browns
Let's
fan.
go
I see
through-
what he's saying. He probably has a lot of pain towards him. It's doing things for him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Continue.
Sorry, buddy. But yeah, Baker Mayfield going up against Washington. Washington gave up the most passing yards per game last year, and they didn't do much to help their defense. They got a great defensive front, so I think that's going to be like their front seven is great. I think that's going to make Tampa Bay want to pass, and they have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
I mean, Otten. Rashad White can catch the ball.
Rashad White's a great
McMillan now.
McMillan, exactly. Yeah, I mean, Baker he was hot into the playoffs last year. I think he easily puts up 250, 2+ touchdowns. Yeah, Baker Mayfield.
And he has the
QB
potential
star.
to go even higher than that.
Exactly.
Especially with Washington's offense. They could put up some points.
Washington's new offense, they could put up points. Jaden Daniels could come out and look great right away. And Tampa Bay might need to keep up with that. But yeah, I got Mayfield.
Since we were talking about Baker and the Jordan Love thing, can you look up Baker Mayfield's roster percentage on Sleeper right now?
Yeah, I got it up right now. It's 42%.
42%?
42%.
So I would say majority, like the 12-team leagues, roster percentage is maybe 55, 60.
It's probably a little bit higher.
Yeah. He should be available in a lot of leagues. Unless you're in a Superflex, start Baker Mayfield.
He's definitely a Superflex, he's I think high-end QB2.
Yes.
But this week with a good matchup, he might even be like a low-end QB1.
Oh, totally.
In my book, for sure.
Yeah. Who's your next start of the week, Ron?
Next start of the week is for running backs.
Yep, your one running back.
And this is going to be from the same game. I got Austin Eckler.
Eckler, who had a bad year last year? What?
Who would have thought? Look, I think Washington, going back to their defense, not a great defense. They could be down a lot this year. Austin Eckler is going to be the pass-catching running back on that team. Rookie quarterback, great pass-catching running back. He could get close. I think it's 80+ targets easy this year. Probably
with a rookie quarterback.
And you don't be surprised if he gets 70 catches this year and pushes like 600-700 yards receiving.
Probably not going to run the ball a lot because they got Brian Robinson.
He's
going to be a PPR player.
I bet Eckler still gets like 6 to 7 carries a game.
Correct.
Which you never know what he's going to do.
Correct.
And he's a great goal line running back. He's proven that can score touchdowns.
Yes.
People are sleeping on him a lot this year, but rookie quarterback.
Not a lot of options.
Right, new head coach.
Pretty much just McLaurin.
You got McLaurin, Eckler. I think he's going to be one of the big playmakers for them. So,
correct.
Yeah.
It's funny, your next start, same game?
Same game.
Wow, you really like this game. Is this your game of the week, maybe?
Maybe I just don't like their defenses.
No, I understand.
Yeah, next
can we address something real quick?
Sure.
So he's talking about starting potentially Baker Mayfield over Kyler Murray. What are your thoughts on that? Kyler against Buffalo, Baker against Washington.
Buffalo's Josh.
Wait, let me be clear. Let's see what he's saying. Let's say if you're going to start Mayfield over Josh Allen. Oh, great idea. Yeah, sit Josh Allen.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to your next start.
I got Scary Terry. Same game again.
Wow. Okay. Why? Why Terry McLaurin?
McLaurin has been a consistently good, not great, wide receiver. He is a great wide receiver, but he's never had a quarterback. They got a quarterback this year. Former Heisman winner. This guy's great. Former Daniels, obviously, not McLaurin. They got Daniels, new quarterback. I think they're going to be down in this game. I think they're going to need to throw a lot. And
Daniels can throw the deep
Daniels
ball.
likes to push the ball downfield. Hopefully he'll
can.
try to get it up. Terry McLaurin's a good wide receiver. I think.
No other options.
Yeah, I mean,
who else is he going to throw to? Ben Sinnott?
They traded Jahan Dotson.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
although McCaffrey's been getting he's been getting some raves, some good
yeah,
reviews.
Luke McCaffrey. I don't know.
Yes.
I think it's between Eckler and McLaurin.
Thank you for the subscription, Juki-holic. Wow.
You're awesome, dude. Appreciate you.
Bravo.
We're on the hook.
Yeah, dude. We will. We're working on some subscription stuff, so just tune in. We're on notice. All right. So then, so when you start Baker Mayfield and he craps the bed, you know where to come back. Anyways, Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin. He's been good with bad quarterbacks. I think he's gonna be having his best quarterback he's ever had. Like I said, he's good.
Oh, by far.
I think.
Hopefully.
I think he's gonna be a target machine this year. I mean,
115.
Easy.
Yeah.
I think with like I said, they don't have a good defense. They're not going to be a good team this year. They're going to be behind a lot. I think Daniels is going to be throwing the ball a lot.
Correct. All right, who's your tight end start of the week?
My tight end is Jake Ferguson.
Okay. I like it.
Big reason why. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb is a stud.
Yeah.
He won me a league last year. But he's coming into camp late, didn't have a lot of time to play with everyone in the offseason. That might not be a huge deal because he's so good. Dak loves him. But Cleveland has good corners. They got Ward and Newsome. Their linebackers and safeties aren't as good as their cornerbacks are.
Still good, but not elite.
Oh, yeah. But Ferguson could be working the middle of the field.
Could catch some touchdowns. He's a good red zone threat.
Yep. You know, he took a big step up last year, and with CeeDee Lamb, a lot of people are going to be scheming against him, and that could benefit Ferguson, and we could see that.
And they have no running game at all,
right?
So they're going to have to throw, especially against Cleveland.
Not to mention, Cleveland's just a good defense. Like Ferguson might end up being Dak's, security blanket, getting the ball out short range, let him run with it.
Yep. Hot take. CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson could be this year's. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb's one step higher, but Laporta and Amon-Ra. Like Ferguson could take. Like Dak's been hyping him up this year. Hot take, like I said, but Ferguson could. He could be a. I would not be surprised at the end of the year you said he was tight end one. They're gonna have to throw a ton, and he is very good. Anyways, who is your defensive start of the week?
My defensive start of the week, and this is a homer pick. It's the Vikings. I feel like they got a lot better in the offseason. Yes, they lost Danielle Hunter. They replaced him with Grenard. Signed a bunch of other people. Drafted Dallas Turner. I think we're going to be putting a lot of pressure on Daniel Jones. Giants obviously don't have Barkley anymore. Daniel Jones to me just isn't a good quarterback. If we can keep him contained, I mean, if the worst thing he does is run, or
fall 40 yards later.
Yeah, if the best thing he does all game is just run, the Vikings are going to be solid.
He's not a quarterback anybody should fear, and even with the addition of Neighbors, yeah. That's a good pick.
Other weeks against a good quarterback, the Vikings secondary is maybe not going to be the best thing, but I don't think he's going to have a whole lot of time. The Giants don't have a very good offensive line. I think Daniel Jones is going to be getting a lot of pressure in his face and not play very well. So
I'm going to give you. So we're going to just fire through these. We're already almost an hour into this, which is insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
So you've got all your 5 starts of the week.
Yep.
I'm going to give you 3 players, and you're going to say yes or no to all of them on if you would start that player over this one. So for the first one for Mayfield, would you start him over Justin Herbert against Las Vegas?
Herbert's hurt. Las Vegas has got a good defense. Yeah.
Okay.
Herbert's got new offense coming in, so they might look to run a lot.
Yes. Brock Purdy against New York Jets?
Most of the time, no, but Purdy's going up against a really good defense. I think that's going to be a defensive battle. So, yeah, I'd take Mayfield over Purdy this week.
Okay. Geno Smith?
Another quarterback that's got a new coach, new system he's coming into. Playing against Denver, who's got a pretty solid defense. I'm taking Mayfield over him, too.
Okay. Eckler. Like I said, 3 players. Brian Robinson Jr. Who you taking?
I'm taking Eckler. I think Eckler's, Washington's going to be down. I think Eckler's going to get a lot of receiving work. Yeah.
Jaylen Warren?
Who
could be healthy now.
He had the hamstring. I think he's practiced fully here. And I think Warren...
Playing against Atlanta.
Warren and Najee, I think, are going to split carries. I shouldn't say carries. I should say work. Work.
Touches. Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. I like Eckler. I think he's in for a bounce back year, man.
He's healthy. People forget that he was hurt almost his first 3 games. What do you have? A couple 20-pointers, and then he got hurt.
He got hurt the first week after he put up a big game.
Hamstring?
It was ankle. High ankle sprain.
That's right.
That's tough to come back from too. If that thing lingers, that messes with you.
Correct. It might take a full off season to come back.
Right.
Last person, Raheem Mostert.
Man, Mostert is explosive. He's on a great team, but
playing against Jacksonville. Yeah.
Playing against Jacksonville, I think though that they want to turn Achane into their RB1. I think Mostert is still going to get some work, but I think most of the receiving stuff is going to go to Achane. Mostert is explosive, but I'm thinking mostly PPR. Eckler is just going to get all that work. Eckler could basically
in a standard league, these answers might be different.
Right. I think most people's typical leagues have turned into PPR. It's just so that's going to be like our standard of what we're talking about, but I don't think Mostert's going to get. I mean, Eckler could be putting up like borderline wide receiver 2, high end 3 numbers with his receiving work.
Running back.
I'm saying like comparable to some people that are doing that.
Yes, I agree. I mean, dude, people forget that 2 years ago he was putting up almost 9 catches a game.
Dude, he was top 3 running back.
No.
Who?
That's probably 7. What do you have? 95 catches, I think, or something like that 2 years ago.
Something like that.
Yeah,
I'd have to look it up.
Which is wide receiver 2.
Right.
Almost. Yeah, I get what you're saying. All right. McLaurin against Tampa Bay or these 3 people. Deontay Johnson going against New Orleans.
I do like Deontay Johnson this year. I think he's going to be Bryce Young's wide receiver 1. He's a great route runner, great hands. But this week with the matchup, I like McLaurin. McLaurin's a more explosive player. I think he's going to get a lot of targets. I think he pushes the ball downfield better than Johnson does.
Keenan Allen, which might not play.
I don't really like him this year. I don't know. I think DJ Moore and Adunze are. I just think they're going to be the better receivers this year.
I can't argue against that.
Yeah.
Okay. How about this? Let's go with a Terry McLaurin or Jalen Waddle. Let's see how high you are on Terry McLaurin.
Jalen Waddle
against Jacksonville.
I've always been kind of low on him just because I feel like he's hurt a lot. I don't think he was hurt as much last year as I think. What?
Sorry, go ahead. This guy's funny. I like this guy.
Well, that's a great name. This guy's a big name guy. I like that. I like names too. I wish I could come.
He'd be, there's a quarterback in college, General. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
All right, Juki Holic.
General Booty.
Look up, General Booty is a quarterback's name. Yeah. Anyways, Waddle or McLaurin?
McLaurin. I think McLaurin has a career year this year. Let's just be.
He's at 1,000 yards every year.
He's at 1,000 yards every year with terrible quarterbacks. I think it's 70 catches every year as well. At least 70 catches every year. Let's see here. Besides his rookie year, he's gone 77 or more catches, 120 or more targets, and 1,053 or more yards. His touchdowns are kind of low, but
he's not a bad quarterback.
I think career year, I think, again, he easily is up above 120 targets, up above 77 catches, 1,000 yards, and he'll probably have a career high for touchdowns this year.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
So Ferguson, would you start him over Kyle Pitts going against
Pittsburgh?
Sorry.
Pittsburgh has a good safeties, good luck. I think that's an even one, I guess, for me. I think with Pitts with a new quarterback, with Cousins like Hawkinson had a couple good years with Cousins. I think that's about even.
Mm-hmm.
I think upside and ceiling wise, Pitts has Ferguson, just because Pitts is just an athletic freak.
He's top 3 in athleticism.
But I think most people drafted Pitts as their their tight end 1 this year. Same with Ferguson, but I mean, if we're talking about floors and ceilings,
most people won't have Ferguson against Pitts.
Yeah,
you're not gonna have 2 of them, but you never know. These are all like the fringe. Nah, maybe not Pitts, but there's a chance you could have 2 of these guys.
Yeah,
who knows? So you would take Ferguson over Pitts?
I think it's even. If I'm looking for a ceiling player, I think I'd go Pitts, because he definitely has the ceiling to go for like 10, 120 and 2 touchdowns, where I don't think Ferguson's ever put any kind of numbers up like that before. But I think floor wise on a established offense, Ferguson has him. So I think if you're looking for something that's a solid floor, you go Ferguson. Pitts is the ceiling. Fantasy's all about like taking risks. If you want to, like, I'm going to play Pitts because I need a bunch of points. I need a potential of a lot of points.
Correct. I don't know about you, but the day of the week that people play, I will change what I do. If it's going into a Sunday late night game and I'm projected to lose by like 30 or 40 or whatever, I might play my home run play. Or if it's earlier in the week, if you had Pitts and Ferguson's probably safer. I mean, I like Pitts this year, but Pitts, like, he legitimately can go off for 10, 130, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Any given week. Kirk Cousins retired.
He died.
We don't like him anymore.
He died.
Yeah.
He's starting week 1. He came back from his
You had Goddard on here, but he already played.
I think, regardless of if he played or not, I'm taking Ferguson over Goddard. I don't like Goddard this year. I think he's a good tight end too. If he's your if he's your bye week replacement, or if you need a streamer,
maybe in a best ball league.
Yeah, best ball league maybe.
Pat Freiermuth,
he's a good player, but I don't know. That quarterback situation in Pittsburgh is going to be iffy, I think, all year.
With Fields potentially playing now.
Fields definitely has potential, but he's never really been the best passer, and
correct.
You never see. You never know. You never know what could happen. Tough to play any receiving player on Pittsburgh, but we'll see what happens. I play Ferguson over Freiermuth.
Defensive special team recommendation for a sit? I mean,
sit recommended. What?
You like an actual defense or individual players? Personally, what did I have? I actually had this. There we go. Right here. New Orleans for me. Cincinnati against New England. Chicago against Tennessee.
I like Chicago this week too. Tennessee.
Defense, special teams. So we're going to do another stream on Monday night. We're pretty much going to do Friday or Saturday night, Monday night. Monday night will be our actual waiver wire pickups. But for this week, I got New Orleans, Cincinnati, and Chicago. I just picked up New Orleans. They're playing against Carolina.
I think for a lot of my teams, I drafted Chiefs was one of the teams defenses I drafted. Baltimore on a 1 or 2 or whatever. I sat them knowing that was going to be a tough game for both defenses, and I picked up Chicago and Minnesota playing against bad teams.
Who could potentially break out this week for you? Which I know it's week 1, so it's like you're not really breaking. Who's the guy that you're like looking forward to?
I like Ladd McConkey.
Okay.
He's been one of my favorite guys all off season. Dude's a great route runner. going into a team where Justin Herbert's favorite target was Keenan Allen, who played a lot in the slot, who was a great route runner. And I think that's Ladd McConkey is going to fill that role, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's getting, 8 to 10 targets a week. Might be short work, but if you're like we said, our standard leagues are PPR, and if he's getting 8 to 10 targets a week and getting 6 catches and 60, 70 yards a week plus some work in the red zone, he could be a solid floor guy.
Yep. All right, let's get to my starts. So, my quarterback start.
Before we get into this, should we go on to the next beer we got?
Yeah, I gotta finish this one still.
Oh, I'm ready.
Hey, give me a second.
I'm ready.
This next beer, I think.
This is the one Nick picked out.
I picked out a beer for you guys. You have to like wheat beers, but it's a local beer again. We're trying to stay local somewhat.
Support local businesses.
Mm-hmm. So, here you go, Ron. This one's called... Here.
Did you show him?
Not yet.
Okay.
This one's called Dual Citizen. It is a brewery that's located in St. Paul. And they've got like 5 or 6 beers. You can actually order it off of Total Wine and ship it anywhere to you, anywhere in the United States. It's called Solar Shift. It's a Belgian white. They got IPAs. They got Kolsch beers. They got, I think, 6 total. I just found out about it today. I was at Total Wine, and it is phenomenal. So that's our 2 beers.
He's already had
today.
12. Just kidding.
No. 15. 15 of them.
Cheers.
Cheers. Like we said, we are bros and beers. Browns fan, totally a Royals guy. Royals have been good this year. So we're also doing fantasy baseball.
Yep.
That will be in the summer, but
fantasy baseball is pretty much over for us. I think all the leagues we're in are in playoffs right now.
Correct. Or tomorrow will be the last day. All right, so we have a lot left to do, and we're at an hour and 6 minutes.
Okay. Let's get moving. All right, so for Nick's starts of the week, who do you have as your quarterback to start this week?
Matt Stafford. I know.
Matt Stafford.
Going against Detroit, back in Detroit for the first time since the playoffs. Last year's playoffs, 350 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He has a healthy Cooper Kupp, potentially banged up Puka Nacua, but
he's ready to.
He's ready to go.
Ready to go.
We'll see.
I
think it's Whittingham.
I think
he's a rookie this year.
Whittington.
They got Kyrie Williams, they got Blake Corum. Like, he's set up for a sneaky good year. I have him as a high-end quarterback 2, low-end quarterback 1 this year. Or I'm sorry, this week. My second start of the week, I have got... this is going to ruffle some feathers, but... Zamir White going against the Chargers. If you just watch him, the dude just runs angry. He reminds you a lot of Pacheco. He's playing for the Raiders. Pierce is going to run the heck out of the ball. The Chargers' defense is mediocre. Mm-hmm. They have a decent pass rush, but they're going to run the ball a ton. He could potentially get 2 or 3, maybe 4 catches. So in PPR, he's good. I like him better in standard, to be honest, because he's going to rush the ball a lot. Can maybe get a touchdown. Probably not 2. But we'll see. He's going to be the bell cow for them.
The games that he started last year after Jacobs got hurt, he had 20-plus touches in every game.
Yeah.
So he's going to get used a lot.
They're going to look to focus their offense around him. Their quarterback it's Minshew. I mean, he's all right. But, all right. My next start of the week. This is for wide receiver. I really like him this year. Jackson Smith-Njigba going against Denver. So Denver has a great pass defense. They got Patrick Surtain, which between him and Sauce are probably the top 2 cornerbacks. Mm-hmm. If, up there. Surtain will probably lock up Metcalf. So, and Lockett is supposed to play, but there's a lot of talk that Smith-Njigba will actually be the wide receiver 2 this year. It's going to be a lowish scoring game, but in PPR, I think Smith-Njigba could get 6 for 80, maybe a touchdown. and his ceiling is like insanely high.
Let's just put it this way. You don't draft a guy in the first round of a draft to have him sit behind a wide receiver.
Who's 31 years old.
Yeah, Lockett's a good wide receiver. He's banged up. He's old.
Correct.
Smith and Jigba, I think, definitely takes the next step.
Correct.
This year.
Boulevard Brewery, by the way, where's that? Is that Twin Cities? I'll check it out.
Boulevard Brewery? Let's check that out. I'll look it up.
Yeah. While you're doing that, I'll talk about my next player.
Yeah.
So this one, I know what we said about players that aren't in the top 12. Tight ends were a little bit harder. So my fourth start of the week.
It's in Kansas City.
Kansas City. All right, we're going to come out there. Let's do it.
We'll take a visit.
We'll go see a Royals game and then a Chiefs game.
Ooh, I'd
That'd be fun, actually. I'd love to go to
Chiefs game
Arrowhead.
would be fun. I've driven by it, but that's about it.
You got to go inside. So my tight end start of the week, Evan Ingram. I mean, he's Trevor Lawrence's number one option. Miami's linebacker core their whole defense is bad. That's why they have to score 35 points a game.
Kirk is hurt.
Yep, Ridley's gone. Kirk is questionable, I think.
He is questionable, yeah.
They got Brian Thomas. They got Gabe Davis. But Lawrence and him had just had phenomenal chemistry.
He had a career year last year.
Correct. Tight end 3 in a PPR? What was he?
Kirk is not on the injury report. I believe Ingram was a 3. Let's check that out quick.
I think he was 3rd overall last year. Is it not going to show?
History. He's 2.
2nd overall.
Behind
Okay.
Laporta.
And it's not going to change. They're off. I mean, Brian Thomas could take over, but it's...
143 targets, 114 receptions, almost 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. Never been a big touchdown guy, but he's receptions and yards.
And that's why in PPR he's great. My defensive start of the week is New Orleans against Carolina. Hey, let's be realistic. It's the Panthers. I mean, I have Bryce Young. I like him this year, but New Orleans just has a good defense, and we have no idea what Bryce Young is going to do. Brooks is hurt. Deontay Johnson's a little bit banged up. Thielen, he's our guy. I love Thielen.
Yes.
He will have a place in my heart
Minnesota
forever.
man.
Yes. Should I start Stafford over Burrow with Chase and Higgins out? Stafford going to have Puka? Yes, easily. Fired up. Even if
New
Chase
England
starts,
has a good defense too. Like that's the only.
They should be up. They're going to use Moss. And
I agree. I think Moss
Brown.
and Brown are going to have great games.
Definitely Stafford over Burrow.
Burrow's. Stafford's also playing Detroit. That's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm pretty sure it's in Detroit, inside. It's going to be don't be surprised if both of those teams score over 30.
It could be. What was it? The Rams and Chiefs a couple years ago, where they put up like 70. No, what was it? Almost 90 points between the two. It was like 56-49 or something like that. It could be that kind of game.
Yeah, Stafford's a
both
good start
defenses
this
are
week, for sure.
okay, average, but both offenses are just elite.
Not to mention, I guess that Aaron Donald not being there doesn't matter for Stafford.
Correct.
So for comparison, for your starts,
Yes.
are you going Stafford over Tua?
Tua against Jacksonville. No, I gotta start Stafford.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Love was obviously last night, but he's
just to show a comparison of where I have him, that one was tough, but I didn't like the Eagles' defense.
Yeah.
So I would still have Stafford over Love.
Okay. And you just put Stafford over Burrow, who Burrow's probably
He's
right
up
around
there.
where Love is as well.
Correct.
And then Purdy.
Yeah, I mean,
Purdy's got a tough matchup this week.
And Ayuk they just came out that saying Ayuk's not going to be on a full snap share.
Right, I saw that too.
Yes, I have him over Purdy.
Okay, so Zamir White, you starting him over Tony Pollard?
Pollard's going against Chicago. Yes.
Great run D in Chicago.
Yeah, I don't like them, and he's going to split work.
Yep.
Okay.
Ramondre Stevenson.
I'm not a fan of him, honestly. Like, he's
you
fine,
told me
but
that.
they're playing against Cincinnati. Good run defense. And who knows what Gibson's going to do to him.
Right.
I have Zamir White over him.
And Javonte Williams.
Who's playing against Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
That one's closer. Javante, he's lost a lot of weight this year. I think
Looks quick
Sean
according to
Payton
reports.
likes him. Who knows what Jaleel McLaughlin's going to do. They could be down a lot this year.
Yeah.
I will say, so in PPR it's close. Standard, I definitely have Zamir White.
That's the one thing is we don't know how they're
Baker.
going to use Zamir in the passing game, but they don't really have anybody else. Their RB2, I'm pretty sure, is Alexander Madison, who is not.
We're not a fan of him anymore. I had him very high last year, and he went me down. But I didn't draft him in any leagues.
Butterfingers.
Yes. Real quick,
Right.
Purdy,
Secondly,
or
Purdy
Baker
or
over Burrow? I got Baker.
Ooh, Baker all
Yeah.
day.
Baker
Purdy's
over
got
both of those.
Purdy's got a tough matchup.
Yep.
Tough matchup against New York.
To compare
Wide receiver Smith and Jigma or Njigba over Ridley.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't trust Will Levis
I do like Ridley this year, especially with Hopkins. He was that last year too, but Ridley.
And that could be a Lawrence thing.
Ridley could be a high ceiling.
Correct. Yes.
But I think his floor is going to be low. Just because he has such an unexperienced quarterback throwing him the ball. Not to mention, you don't know what's going to happen with that run game yet.
Correct.
Pollard and Spears, but
Correct.
Smith and Jigba over McLaurin, who was my start of the week.
It's close. I have to go McLaurin, though.
I think
it's very close for me, and I know Smith and Jigba was a wide receiver too, but like he is one of my breakouts of the year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd have McLaurin, but it's close.
For sure. And George Pickens.
Another close one. It depends on who's starting for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So when I made this list, I had Russell Wilson starting. And I would take Smith and Jigba over him. Just based on this matchup. But if Fields is starting, we'll see. I think I still have Smith and Jigba, though. Can I do one thing real quick?
Yeah, I think Pickens.
Yeah, I'll fix it later. Whatever.
I think if Russell was playing, Pickens would have a higher ranking. I think with Fields, I don't know.
Yeah.
Fields has been so inconsistent throwing the ball that.
Correct.
Okay, Evan Ingram, are you starting him over Kyle Pitts?
Pitts against Pittsburgh. Yeah. For me, Pitts, he's one of my sits of the week just for the fact that he's going to be going up against Minka and who's the new linebacker for Pittsburgh? They just signed him from the Ravens.
Patrick Queen.
Yeah, Patrick McQueen. Between the two of them, they're gonna lock up Pitts. Yeah. I got Ingram over Pitts.
That's one of those things too, where I was talking about Pitts with Ferguson. That Pitts has such a high ceiling, but his floor could end up being
5
low.
points.
Where like Evan Ingram's floor is much higher than Kyle Pitts.
In PPR,
right?
Yes.
Again, everything we talk about is PPR.
Yeah. If you have specific questions to standard half-point PPR, the new thing is half-point PPR and then half-point per first down. So yeah.
Ingram over Kittle.
That's another close one. Yeah, I would take Ingram.
Another tough matchup for him.
Exactly.
With a good linebacking core and a good secondary.
Yeah, the Jets have a
that Kittle's
great defense. So.
And then Ingram or Njoku.
Against Dallas. I just don't like Deshaun Watson, but Njoku's his guy.
And I think
I would still take Evan Ingram.
Yeah,
it's
Dallas,
so close.
Njoku could have a good game. The weak part of Dallas's defense is their linebackers and safeties, because their defensive line and their cornerbacks are their strong points.
What's his name? Van Der Esch just retired.
Yep.
Yeah, they lost Dron Bland for 8 games, I think. Yeah, no.
Not that he would be covering Njoku, but
their defense is.
They have some middle of the road safeties.
Correct.
But yeah, those are our starts.
Yep.
Of the week.
Yep. So next, we are going to talk about My breakouts, I already talked about one of them. Smith and Jigba, just for this week, and then Chase Brown. Chase Brown against New England is going to... I think he's going to overtake Zach Moss.
He's
Ron,
a much more explosive runner.
what are some hot takes for the week?
So, I mentioned earlier that I like Deontay Johnson. He's been the wide receiver 1 in Pittsburgh since, I don't know the year, but the last few years he's been the
6
wide
years,
receiver.
maybe.
He's been the wide receiver 1 in Pittsburgh. He's 28. Going to Carolina. Carolina's got all new staff. They got Canales coming over from Tampa Bay to run that offense.
And he did wonders for Baker.
Right. So, Bryce Young, we know Bryce Young's talented. He had a bad year. I think they incorporate Deontay Johnson. They're going to move him all over the field. They're going to pepper him with targets. I think he has a great year. I think he could definitely, and even though Carolina might end up being a pretty bad team, I think he's going, for fantasy purposes, I think he's going to have a great year.
Yeah, his value is good. He's going late.
Mm-hmm.
Next hot take for this week.
For this week, and this is another homer pick. My hot take against the New York Giants, Sam Darnold.
I hope so. He's in my super flex.
Yeah, goes for 300 yards. And I'm going to say 3 total touchdowns. Because I think there's he can rush.
He's somewhat mobile.
I think he could end up having a rushing touchdown, get down there in the red zone and get a broken play, and they might not expect it.
It's possible.
He could be the new Red Rifle. What did they call Andy Dalton? Red Rifle.
Red Rifle.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Darnold's a redhead.
He is.
But yeah, Darnold. I think he comes in hot, man. I think Kevin O'Connell will use him. It's the best team Darnold's ever been on with the most weapons. Addison's healthy. Got the best wide receiver in football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see what happens when Hawkinson comes back. But this is Darnold's team now. They drafted J.J. McCarthy. He's obviously out for the year. They got to put their faith in him, and yeah, I think he comes out with a bang. That's my hot take. Hot takes.
Okay. My hot take for the year, but also potentially against Detroit. No, this is, like I said, these are hot takes, so they're most likely not correct. But it's on video, it's recorded. At the end of the year or at the end of the week, we're going to look back and see, wow, how great we looked, or how, wow, these guys know nothing.
Right.
But it's fun to talk about.
It's fun.
My hot take is Kyron Williams and Blake Corum are going to be a committee. They don't draft Blake Corum as high as he did. He was a stud at Michigan. I think it's a little bit of smoke. What do they call it? Smoke and
mirrors.
There you go, smoke and mirrors, that Kyron Williams is going to be returning punts. We'll see. If he actually is, that definitely means that they believe in Corum.
Right.
But I think it's going to be more of a 60-40 Kyron Williams to Corum, especially once Corum gets up to speed. So yeah, that's my first hot take. I actually have 3. Apparently I have 3, but you only have 2. Whatever. My other one, McLaurin scores 25 points this week. To go off your... Yeah, McLaurin, I love him. And then my other one, this is like for real hot take. Patriots are going to upset the Bengals. And this was before Higgins was out. I just have a feeling that...
It could happen, man.
God, who's the Patriots' new coach?
Gerard Mayo.
Yeah, dude, he's going to fire them up. Yeah.
Former player, he could. He knows how to fire up players.
Correct. So we're going to fire through injuries to monitor and potential backups to pick up. So we already talked about it a little bit. T. Higgins is doubtful. Andre Iosova. We got to look up how to say that. Iosivas.
We'll say it like that.
Potentially Jermaine Burton. I like Iosivas better. CMC's limited in practice. He plays Monday night. If you can pick up Jordan Mason, he's most likely available.
All reports point to McCaffrey playing.
Correct. But if you have
he has the history of being injured. So
yeah, I wouldn't sit him, but have a backup plan because it's Monday night just in case. Mm-hmm. If you have somebody that you can drop for Jordan Mason, just pick him up.
Yeah.
Go ahead with the next one.
DeAndre Hopkins with the knee, he's questionable. Yeah, if you got him and you're planning on starting him or if you were planning on starting him and he doesn't play, Tyler Boyd could be the pickup you need. Tyler Boyd's a veteran. He's proven that he is a capable wide receiver in the NFL, and he's a slot guy, reliable hands, middle of the field, short intermediate stuff, especially with a young quarterback in Will Levis. He could end up being a nice little security blanket for him if Hopkins is not playing.
Yep.
And Keenan Allen is questionable.
Which I think he's going to play, but we'll see.
It sounds like he's going to play, but, he might end up being the, wide receiver 3 on that team with DJ Moore and Roma Dunze, who, there's been reports coming out that Williams and Dunze are building a pretty good chemistry together. So, yeah.
Bear up.
Bear
Or
up.
bear down or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a Vikings fan. It's
Bear down.
Yeah. Tyler Scott is potentially the wide receiver on it. Wide receiver 3 if he doesn't start.
Yep.
Probably not worth picking up, but just something to monitor. Russell Wilson is doubtful to play now, actually.
Right. Is he really? Okay.
Yeah. So Justin Fields is the guy to pick up as far as their teams.
Definitely if you have super flex league and you were planning on playing Russell Wilson, I think for fantasy purposes, Justin Fields is a hell of an upgrade.
Yes.
That rushing upside, we saw what he can do in Chicago when he's got the ball in his hands. Like, the dude's capable of putting up 100 yards on the ground any week.
Correct. Brock Bowers expected to play. Just monitor it just in case. Jalen Warren, he was a full participant in practice on Friday, expected to play, but so that affects Najee Harris.
Mm-hmm. Russell Wilson is in Pittsburgh, by the way.
Yeah, he's in Pittsburgh. He got traded. Did he get signed? Did he
He
get
got
released?
cut.
Yeah, released and then signed.
Signed by Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and then Pittsburgh traded for Justin Fields for a 5th round pick to the Bears.
4th
Maybe
or 5th.
I think it's a conditional, where if you play so many snaps, it becomes a 4th or something like that.
Maybe that's why he's sitting. Or not starting,
yes.
apparently.
Yeah. The other one is Tyler Lockett, expected to play. If he does not play, Smith and Jigba definitely start. Jordan Addison, he's off the injury report.
Yep, he was a full go Friday,
so,
which is good.
I guess when we talk about injuries, it's not necessarily people that are out, but just people to monitor.
Keep an eye on.
If you've been listening all week, like, man, this guy's hurt, we're going to give you updates on, like, this guy's good to go, this guy's out, questionable. That's how our injuries are going to work. Want to give us a Monday night preview?
Yeah, Monday night preview. Should be a good game. Hopefully, Aaron Rodgers can play for more than 3.5 seconds. But Monday night preview, we got last year's NFC champion, San Francisco 49ers, with Brock Purdy and the return of the future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers. And like I said, hopefully he can stay on the field this year.
It's great for the NFL.
Yeah.
We need it.
He's a great quarterback, dude. He's 100%. He's going to be first ballot Hall of Famer. Even at the age 40, he's got a great arm. He's going to definitely elevate them. Last year's fantasy MVP, CMC, versus one of the best D's in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got, Breece Hall on the other side of the ball, also going up against another great defense. Like these are 2 great defenses going at it.
Mm-hmm.
It should be a great
Breece Hall
game.
this year.
Breece Hall is so talented. I think he's going to end up being one of the focal points of this offense.
Yep.
And if he's not, then Robert Saleh shouldn't be a head coach.
That's probably debatable already, but yeah.
Yeah, Breece Hall is so good. He's going to run.
They don't have Zach Wilson anymore, though. They're already off to a great start.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
We know Breece Hall is good. Look for CMC. He's supposed to play.
Mm-hmm.
If he plays, he'll have a good game. He'll have a good workload. Breece Hall, same thing. Garrett Wilson
should have a great game.
Debo will probably have a good game as well.
Yeah.
Those guys are all, short intermediate guys. I would expect Sauce to be on Ayuk whenever he's on the field. But you never know.
That'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting to see.
I'd have to look that up because there's certain cornerbacks that no matter how good they are, they don't really play a lot of man, and that depends on the defense. But I know Sauce plays a lot of man.
Yeah, I mean he should. He's a freak. But could end up. These are two of the best defenses in the NFL. This could wind up being a very defensive, low-scoring game. It's got, the two top running backs that were drafted this year in most fantasy leagues in McCaffrey and Hall. Mm-hmm. Could be a middling game for both of them.
Yep.
Wilson is a top 10 wide receiver drafted. Ayuk is probably top 15 to 20 depending on where you have him. Samuel is kind of in that same range. Yep. There's a lot of different outcomes that we could get from this game. I'm kind of expecting a defensive battle, but
correct. I do. I'm excited.
Yeah,
it's a great. The matchups of this week have been great.
Football is back. We love it. We've already had a couple games.
Two games to start the year, and they've been.
I'm excited. I'm excited to have a full day of football tomorrow.
Correct.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. Oh, that's probably what I'll do all day. And then Monday night, watch more football.
We both have kids, and we'd rather watch football.
Well, it depends.
Just kidding.
My 3-year-old, I'm not going to say names, but she likes football. My 1.5-year-old, he gets so hard. He won't watch TV. He wants to play, which is good. So.
Yep, my 3 kids, if there's nothing on the TV that is...
It's not Cocomelon or...
We don't watch Cocomelon.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't either. We watch The Wiggles.
Wiggles.
Miss Rachel.
Dude, Miss Rachel,
if you see this,
babysitter.
Thank you for raising my kids.
Yeah, love you.
Not
Respect.
actually, but Blippi. Blippi's cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, recently Danny Go.
Yeah, we've gotten into that one as
Danny
well.
Go.
Danny Go.
That dude's a genius.
Dude, he used to work at Kohl's, I think it was. I saw he worked at Kohl's as like a marketing guy. I think that's what it was.
Wow.
And now he does UT. He makes
what a
millions
left
of
turn.
dollars. Yeah.
That guy.
He's a good dancer. He makes me look really bad.
Yeah. All right, enough about kids.
Kids.
That's another thing about us. We're dads. We love being dads. But we love football.
Yes. I love my kids more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first episode.
That's the first episode.
So
that's what
you
we're
got
going
some
to
starts,
conclude.
there's some review of the past couple days. In general, we're going to be streaming online, probably on Twitch. I think Twitch, we'll see. Between Twitch and YouTube, I'll give you guys the links in a second. And then we'll be posting on YouTube the next day, or probably right after we're finishing with our stream.
Mm-hmm.
We post it on TikTok, Instagram. If you need sit questions, it will be through X, commenting on our videos.
X, commenting on videos.
And we also... So here's some of our social medias. We've got X, TikTok, Instagram, Twitch is what we're on right now, and YouTube. Most things are bros and beers.
That YouTube handle is probably going to change.
Same thing with the TikTok. It just depends on what's available.
Somebody decided to put the words backwards in TikTok.
Yeah, I know. It'll be replaced.
But that's all right. We can't change it within a certain amount of days, so.
Correct.
Those will change, but we'll keep, as of now, that's what they are.
Correct.
But we'll always have the most up-to-date ones.
I guess I should add one more in case you need to. If you can't comment on our videos for whatever reason, we do have an email. You can send an email to us about start-sits, trades. We're going to have have videos on trades.
Any kind of advice that you need, if you need, trade
Literally
advice, start-sit
anything.
advice.
Strategies. I definitely want to do a video soon on, how to set up a trade, like how to send out a trade. There'll be a lot of content coming out soon. If you subscribe to any of those channels, you'll get notifications of us going live or posting videos. Don't forget to like and comment. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night. After the Sunday night game.
Yes, sir. We'll have updates with all the games, any kind of big injury news, standouts, duds again.
Just everything.
We love it. We love football. We love playing fantasy football. We
might be playing Madden on here.
Yeah, we love playing
Madden.
That's
on
another
Twitch.
thing. We love video games.
Yep.
So, never know.
Yeah, but enjoy your weekend, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Enjoy the first week of football.
Bros and beers.
Bros and beers. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
See you guys.